Hey guys, it's Melissa here. Today I want to talk to you about looking for signs and how signs can sometimes come in the most amazing places. So today for me was like an ordinary day. I got up this morning and we have, a little puppy Nala. And she, is having trouble sleeping at night, so she ends up waking up early in the morning, and the kids don't really want to mess with her because she doesn't want to lay down. So she ends up out in the dining room area whenever I wake up in the morning, and she's always there to greet me. So same thing today. I listened to some affirmations, and I got ready to go to school. And something had been weighing on my mind, wondering, if things in my life were going to work out a certain way. I've got a lot of projects going on and a lot of awesome things are happening in my life. But I'm human as with anyone else. I sometimes find myself doubting whether I've made the right choice or if I'm on the right path. And although I try to keep a positive attitude and ensure that, I am thinking about the right things and being positive, again, I'm human, and I sometimes find myself thinking about whether or not I'm really where I'm supposed to be. Am I doing everything that I should be doing? Am I accomplishing enough? And I was thinking of that today, and again, trying not to really dwell on it because I didn't want to make myself miserable and go down the spiral of feeling bad about myself, but it was in the back of my mind. And so this morning, as I was on my way to work and I was thinking about things, I just said, okay, universe, I know you have my back, and I know that you know exactly where I'm supposed to be, and you know exactly what's for my highest good. Please show me, please let me know if I'm on the right track, if I'm where I'm supposed to be. Or what is this all about, So I had my little conversation, my prayer with God and the universe this morning. And then I went about my day. It was just an ordinary day. It's a good day. My students were funny. We talked about Easter in Germany, which was always a good time. And I went down to my mailbox to just check my mail, do my random things on my prep hour. And one of the people that I used to work with and who is a listener of this podcast, so I am going to call her out, Mary, I want to say thank you so much, left a book in my mailbox. And as soon as I saw it, I got very excited because this book is exactly up my alley. It's something I would have picked out myself to read. It's The Path Made Clear, Discovering Your Life's Direction and Purpose by Oprah Winfrey. So I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, that's perfectly me. Whoever sent this to me or put this in my mailbox knows me very well. And then I go to find the card in there, and the card was so sweet, and gifting me this book from Mary was so nice, and it just made my day. But the amazing thing about it, not only was it a sweet gesture and a pick-me-up for the day, but when I turned to the page where the card was, it was right on this passage by Kerry Washington. It said, I really believe that if I want something, God has 3 answers. It's either yes, yes, but not right now, or no, because I have something better in store for you. And while some people might say, well, that's not really an answer, it was to me. To me, I knew exactly what that meant. I knew exactly what that meant, and I knew that that was meant for me, and I knew that it was the divine's way of getting my attention and saying, we're listening and we're guiding you, and we're giving you answers. We're giving you the answers that you seek. So while Mary may have just thought she was doing a nice gesture, and she thought of me when she saw the book, and it was the sweetest gesture, it was actually so much more than that, because I believe that the universe uses us to be signs for other people. Things that we say to them, things that we do for them. This one thoughtful gesture became something that answered all of the questions that I was having in my mind that day. And you had no idea that the universe was using you But they do, and the universe can find amazing ways to give us messages and to help us get back on the right path. And to me, that's an amazing thing. I'm always surprised and delighted by the ways that I receive messages and signs from the universe. And it can come in such amazing ways. This to me was completely amazing because I wasn't expecting it, but it came at the perfect time, the absolute perfect time. And I almost didn't go by my mailbox, but because I thought, oh, well, there's not usually anything in it. I checked it the other day, but I thought, no, I'm going to go by just in case. So glad I did, because the answer was right there for me. And I love that she thought of me when she saw this book. It is so perfect for me. And the card was so sweet. I love that. I love those little kinds of gestures. I think that's so sweet. You never know how the universe can send you a sign. So you really have to always be open and aware and looking for them. Sometimes you can find a sign when you're just scrolling through Facebook. How many times have you had a question about something and then you scroll through Facebook and you see an inspirational post and you're like, oh, I really felt like that was talking to me. Well, it was. I even talk about that when I do my Facebook Lives, when I do the cards. Signs are for everyone. So if I'm reading a card for someone that I've selected to pick a card for, but if you feel like it was speaking directly to your soul, it was. The universe can send more than one message to more than one person. And it might mean one thing to one person, and it might mean something different to someone else, but you know exactly what the message means and what it was intended for. And I think that that's the amazing thing about the universe, is how everyone gets exactly what they need. It's like we're all being guided, and it's all in divine timing. I think about how everything has to play out in order for us to get the messages that we need, in order for us to show up where we need to show up, when we need to show up. And yet, it works. It happens. We get there. We get our messages. We show up in divine timing. And I just think that that is so incredible and amazing to think about. And oftentimes, multiple timelines are playing out. You know, when you think about orchestrating the right people meeting, there's so many things that have to work out for that to happen. You know, it's not one person, but you might have multiple people that's going to involve. It's amazing and a wonder that any of us ever meet or get together in this lifetime, with all that it takes for you to bump into the right person, which I think is so funny. That, I don't know, I just find it not funny in a comical way, but amazing. It's just amazing how this all happens, how everything is orchestrated to come together at the right time, exactly when you need it. And the thing is, when you begin to question, is God really listening? Is God really there? When you ask, He's going to show up in a major way. A major way. The thing is that our spiritual team's with us all the time, and they're always trying to talk to us, but we're not always hearing them because we are so busy. It's like we're not listening most of the time. We might be sitting there thinking, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. And the universe is trying to send us all of these signs and clues, and we just have these blinders on, and we're not listening. We're not looking. We're not paying attention. And our spirit guides are probably standing up there pulling their hair out, thinking like, why are these people ignoring me? They're asking for signs. Here I am trying to give them signs. But when we truly ask and we stop and we thank God for the signs that we get, it's amazing what will show up for us. Like today. Today was an amazing gift because I spent a good part of my drive this morning talking to God and asking, am I on the right track? Am I doing enough? Am I doing what I need to do? And then to get that as my answer of, for me, I knew what it was saying. And it was a sign for me like, hey, we're here and God is constantly on your side, has your back, is orchestrated everything. So you don't need to worry about anything. You're on the right path. Just keep going. And that is a comforting feeling for me because it's very easy for fear to take over, for your ego to take over, for you to feel like you have to have all of the answers. And the truth is, you don't have to have all of the answers. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. So what if you make a mistake? Mistakes are just ways that the universe shifts us onto a different course, shifts our direction a little bit. It's not usually a life or death situation. It's usually something that just causes us to look at something from a different perspective. And I tell my students, I absolutely don't care if you make mistakes. What I care is if you make the mistake and you don't course correct. That's what a true failure is in making the mistake and continuing to make it because we don't course correct. We don't learn from that mistake. If you keep doing the same things over and over again and you're expecting something different to happen, then you're going to drive yourself insane. That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that things are going to turn out differently. Something has to change, and what I've found is it's always me. I'm the thing that has to change in order for my outcome to change, because I can't change the people around me. I can't change their reactions. I can't change their behavior, but I can change my behavior. And I found that that is where I find the most result, is when I change myself. And when I ask for guidance and I ask God, what do I need to know? Show me what this is about. Am I on the right path? Can you give me guidance? Give me signs that I can see, that I will know that I am definitely on the right path. And that's when those awesome, awesome things show up, like someone who brings you a book because they thought of you. But it turns out to be so much more than that. Or you hear a song on the radio and it was exactly the song you needed to hear because the lyrics spoke to you in exactly the way you needed to be talked to. It was exactly the message that you needed to hear. I know that many years ago, I listened to Joel Osteen. I had Sirius XM radio on the car, and I had an hour drive, so I would listen to him a lot. And he said a lot of things that really stuck with me. And one of the biggest things that he always used to say that stuck with me, and I think that's such powerful, powerful way of looking at things, is that your setback is actually just a setup for God to lead you to victory, for you to be victorious. So things that we may have looked at as setbacks, things that happened to us that we didn't expect, we weren't wanting, it wasn't what we were planning, but those are the things that usually set us on the course. Those are the things that totally shift our direction in life. Those are the things that help us see who we really truly are. It's those tower moments, those moments where everything feels like it's crumbling down. The firm foundation that we once knew is no longer. It's like the Notre Dame Cathedral. Yesterday, I had texts going back and forth like crazy saying, hey, did you see that it was on fire and it was destroyed and everyone was so sad? And it was heartbreaking because I've been to Paris many times. I'm taking students there this summer, and in fact, that was on the list of things we were going to tour. And I felt a little twinge in my heart of pain for the people of Paris and for myself, having been there and knowing what a beautiful cathedral it is. And then I thought about it. This cathedral, it's just a building, even though I know it's one of the landmarks that defines Paris. In reality, it's a building, and it will be rebuilt. And I know you can't replace the history and whatever that was lost in the fire. But the honest truth is, it is a building that will be rebuilt. And it will be rebuilt to look the way that it did. But it's, for me, very symbolic of life. This is how our lives are. This is how life is. We grow up to be these people, and we build these relationships and these solid foundations with people. And sometimes those things crumble in a way we weren't expecting, because they were actually renovating that church. So it's like irony. They were trying to save and protect this church, and in the process ended up burning it down, which no one was expecting. And in that way, in life, things happen to you where things crumble, things fall down. Your solid, firm foundations, the things that you really believed were going to last, crumble. But out of the ashes comes something even more beautiful, something stronger. And I truly believe that that's going to happen with this cathedral. They're going to rebuild it, and they're probably going to try to rebuild it so that it lasts even longer. And it's going to be just as beautiful, but stronger. And I feel like that's how we end up when we go through those moments in our lives where we didn't expect something awful to happen, but it did. It was a tower moment for us where the tower came crumbling down. There either wasn't a firm foundation, or the firm foundation suddenly gave way, and it's surprising because we were not expecting it. But what rises out of those ashes is something even more beautiful and even stronger, because it's your true self. When you lose everything, what you find is yourself. And I truly believe that. I truly believe for many of us, it takes completely losing it to gain everything. Because what we're really losing is our ego. We're losing our ego and the part of us that wasn't really us. It was the mask that we wore, the brave faces we put on because we wanted to please others, because we wanted others to like us, because we wanted to fit in. But it wasn't truly us. And for some of us, it was us staying small because our egos told us that we couldn't achieve, or we couldn't do, we couldn't be who and what we wanted to be. And we had to lose that part of us in order to gain the best of us. Because if you never had anything happen to you like that, you would never step outside that comfort zone. At least I know I wouldn't have. I would have never started a podcast. I would have never started a website, started my own business. I wouldn't have done any of that if the universe had not pushed me out of my comfort zone. If I hadn't been driven to a place where I just didn't see how I could continue life in the way that I was, I wouldn't have seen or known what I could have become. Every single day, I'm amazed by what happens in my life. Because a year ago, if you would have told me any of this, I would have laughed. I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said, in fact, somebody did tell me that. I went a year ago and got a card reading from someone, and she was amazing. And she said, in a year from now, you're going to be working for yourself. I don't really see you doing the same thing you're doing now. Like, I don't really see you teaching German. And I thought to myself, okay, yeah, whatever. I remember, I said to her, I even tried to argue with her. I said, oh, no, I teach German, so maybe you just see me, like, in a different area or something. Like, I don't know. It can't be that I'm not teaching German. Like, that's who I am, right? That's what defined me at the time. And she said, no, I don't think that's it, but maybe that's it. I think I questioned it so hard that she backed off a little and went against what her intuition was telling her, because I was so, like, no, indignant, right? No, that's not me. I'm a German teacher. That is what I do. And it's funny to think about that, because now, look at my life. Yeah, I still teach German, and I still love teaching German, and it's what I do, but it's not all of what I do, and it's not only who I am, and it's not what defines me anymore. There's so much more. If someone now were to ask me, like, who are you? What makes Melissa tick? I'd say, do you have 5 years? I have so much to tell you. And a year ago, if someone would have said that, I would have said, well, I like to read. I like the beach. I would have said the things we all say, right? The superficial things that basically everyone says. Just start listing my hobbies, not really the true, deep, intimate things about myself that now I know, because I don't even think I knew those things about myself a year ago. I'm like two totally different people. So when I look back at my life, I'll think of the Melissa that existed from birth to about 41, and then the Melissa that exists from 41 on, because and probably there will be another section of my life where I'm even more different, because I feel like I'm never done evolving. But I think it's interesting to look back and see how far I've come. And it has definitely been by the grace of God and through all of the guidance that I've received. Because when I went through this whole transformation process, the first thing I started doing was praying. And it's not that I didn't pray before. I did. And I went to church, but it was really surface level. I didn't get really real or deep with God. It was more of the thank you for my children, for my health, for my home, for my family, those kinds of things, which I still say. But it wasn't the what am I doing here? Why am I here? What is this all about? There has to be more than this. It was when I started saying that things changed. And I know that many of you are going through the very same thing right now. And I know that some of you even commented on the podcast that, how did you know? That's exactly what I'm going through. So yes, I know you're in the middle of that process right now. So it's so important now more than ever to keep talking to God, keep talking to your spiritual team, keep asking them those questions, keep asking for guidance, because they're there and they want to help you. But I'm here to tell you that even though we think they can read our minds and they know what we need, and they might be able to know what we need, but if we don't ask for the help, they cannot intervene. You've got to ask. They have to know that we need help and that we want it. And when you start asking for those signs, be prepared to get them in amazing ways. It could be someone showing up to give you a gift that absolutely answers the questions you were asking. It could be a podcast that shows up like it was for me. I didn't know where to go or what to do or what to turn to, and I said, God, I need guidance. I need you to bring someone in my life who can help me. And that's when I found the podcast, and it changed my entire everything. That's when people show up for you. It's when songs, books, movies, you name it, everything shows up for us. It just feels like everything was put in our path for a reason. And the synchronicities just start blowing you away because you just think, how did they know that's what I needed? That was exactly what I needed to hear right now. I needed that. And the thing is, the universe knows what we need. The universe knows. And I hope that those of you that are out there, if you're going through something right now and you're struggling through something, don't try to do it alone. You have a whole team out there wanting to help you, but you have to ask. You have to ask for help. You have to ask for guidance. And then you have to be willing to slow down long enough to look for the signs that are being given to you, because they're all around you. One of the things that I was working on today was creating some social media posts. I always like to send out encouraging messages every day on my Facebook page and on Instagram. And one of the things that popped up for me, because Easter is coming up, was all about how death allows us to see that beautiful things can come after death. That spring is the time of year where this really is so evident, because we've had the winter where everything is dead and death is all around. The trees have died, the grass is dead. And then spring comes, and spring is the thing that really shows us that beautiful things can occur after death, because spring brings us beautiful flowers. I had a post on my Facebook page with my beautiful magnolia trees. It was gorgeous. The blossoms were beautiful, like pinkish, purplish colors, so pretty. And tulips are now starting to come up, and daffodils, and all of these beautiful things that we're seeing all over the place. Trees are starting to sprout leaves again. The grass is green again. New babies will be born. Animals will start having their babies this time of year. So just because we have those tower moments, it doesn't mean that everything is lost, everything is gone. That's not what it means at all. When death occurs, spring follows, right? Winter, to me, equals death. I think that's pretty fitting. I am not a cold weather fan, so to me, winter really does, I equate it with death. But when death occurs, spring is right around the corner. Spring is new life, right? The resurrection of things in our lives. When those tower moments happen and it feels like death has occurred and everything looks destroyed, that's when spring comes and everything springs back to life again. And just like that, this Notre Dame Cathedral is going to come back to life again. There's no doubt about it in my mind that they're going to restore this beautiful church once more. And what a symbol of faith and hope that is. That nothing can be truly destroyed, because it can be rebuilt to be better. So, whatever you're going through in life right now, some of us are very happy because awesome, beautiful things are showing up in our lives. And some of us are in the middle of this whole transformation process, and we're healing old inner wounds, and we're feeling very depressed and feeling the emotions from it. And some of us are just kind of in a confused state. We may feel good one day and then bad the next. And again, it's all a process. Wherever you are in your journey, I just hope that you know that you have a team who's supporting you, loving you, right behind you. And you have a whole group of people as well. All of us who are listeners of this podcast, we all support one another. I lift you guys up in prayer every day. I send out love for everyone listening, everyone who works with me, who comes to my Facebook page, who comes in contact with me in any way. I lift up in prayer and send love out to. Because you are all an important part of my life, really, really important part of my life. And I appreciate all of you. We're helping to remind people that there is still good left in this world. We are the good in the world. We're the light, and we are lighting the way for others, for future generations. We're healing the DNA of generations of our families by healing ourselves. If you need help doing that, I recommend that you get a hold of me. You can book a session with me. My contact information is in the description of this podcast. You can join me on my Facebook Lives. They're usually on Tuesdays at 7. Occasionally I have to have them on Thursdays at 7 because of a class I'm taking. So checking my Facebook page is a good idea because I will always put the day of where I'm on Facebook that I'm having the Facebook Live. So I would love for you to join me on Facebook. You can purchase one of my guided meditations. I just added a new one. There's one for third eye opening. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out. It's under the meditation tab on my website. And once you purchase, there's a PayPal link when you go and you purchase the meditation. When you complete the purchase, it takes you to a link where you can download the meditation. So I wanted to read a card for you before I left, and this is from the Teachings of Abraham Wellbeing cards. And guys, this card deck was free through Hay House, and occasionally they will offer free decks that they're digital decks. You can download the app on your phone. So go to Hay House and just check it out if you're interested in having these motivational cards on your phone, because they're awesome for just lifting you up daily. I love that about them. So this card says, anything I can imagine being, doing, or having, I can be, do, or have. Ask yourself why you want it. The essence of your desire is activated, and the universe begins to bring it to you. It's as easy to create a castle as a button. So I think that's interesting because it's true. The universe, people, they like to say, well, I'm going to ask the universe for $20. And it's as easy for the universe to bring you $20 as it is to bring you $20,000. Money is just energy. And the universe is capable of bringing you anything. It's all about the energy of wanting it and why you want it and being grateful for having it and focusing on that it's yours, it's coming in, and being vibrationally aligned with what it is that you want. That's what causes our manifestations to occur. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you again for listening and being a part of this podcast. If you like it, please share it with others so that others may also be able to be a part of the light. We need more people, guys. We need a lot more people to join our mission here, our mission on earth, which is to bring back the light, to show others the light. Too many people are stuck in this dark place and they think that's all there is, and it's not. There's so much more, so much better, and people deserve that, and they need to know about that. So please share the podcast. Please leave reviews or leave stars on iTunes if you can. That also helps people find the podcast. I want to thank you again for listening. I am sending you massive love and light. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.